There are a lot of different quilting designs that use triangles. Today I'm going to show you how to cut triangles and sew them together to make quarter square triangle units. So for this method of making quarter square triangles, we start with two squares, one square in the fabric 1 color and one square in fabric 2 color. You will get 4 triangles from each square, so this will be enough to make 2 half square triangle units. Now the formula to know what size square to get is you take the size of your finished piece that you want without seam allowances and add 1 1/4 inches. So we want 4-inch finished pieces in our quilt, so these squares are going to be 5 1/4 inches. Now that these are cut into triangles, it's easy to see how they're going to go together to make the units. So we'll just begin by stitching them into pairs. So line them up and stitch with a 1/4 inch seam allowance. Once these have been stitched, we're going to open and press with the seam toward the darker fabric. Now we have our 2 pieces pressed. We just join those together with the 1/4 inch seam allowance, and we can see that because we pressed our seams toward the darker fabric, they nest together really nicely, and that will help us join with accuracy. So now that that seam's been stitched, we'll just open and press. So this piece should be 4 1/2 inches square because we need our 1/2 inch for the seam allowance. In the finished piece is going to be 4 inches square. So we can trim off these little dog ears either with scissors or a rotary cutter, and then we're done. So there we go, 2 quarter square triangle units. A lot of people like to cut their pieces bigger and then trim them down, and that's a great strategy if you struggle with the bias edges stretching and things aren't working out. Cut them bigger and then trim them down at the end to square them up, and then you'll still get perfect pieces. So what's so good about this method? It's intuitive. The pieces go together in an obvious way, and there's no marking. That saves time. And what's not so good? Well, the bias edges can easily stretch. So when should we use this method? If you cut and stitch carefully and precisely, it's fine to use. And it's great when you want to make a scrappy quilt. For most people, this isn't the best method, so I give it 2 thimbles out of 5.